Hey everybody, Phantom Shadow here, and welcome back to more Root Film. Last time we finished Case 4, and we're moving on to Yagumo Part 5. Yagumo Part 5 Prologue. Now then, star actress, how about one last line to pull the curtains on this? Again? A great actress wouldn't complain there. Fine. So we put the Capricious Hall behind us, but we were unaware of the next case that awaited us. What was that throw? It's like, to be continued, next week. The screen before his eyes shows nothing but white static, as the sound of a reel rolling back rings through the room. Sayama slowly reaches for the projector and switches it off. With this, the lighting in the room goes out, leaving only a dim darkness. And it seems that's the end. That whisper, he thinks he can make out the faint sound of Sayama stirring, after which the room's light blinked back on. Yagumo pretends to squint from the bright light, taking the chance to wipe off the moisture from his face. After waiting for Yagumo to take a few breaths, Sayama speaks to him somberly. Well, what? Looks like the two films that you brought in were without a doubt pilot films from the project 10 years ago. Oh. Rio's stuff was 10 years ago. Is this what you've been looking for this whole time? What do you think then? Satisfied? Am I satisfied, huh? I didn't really look for satisfaction. In which case, why were you so desperate to find them? From what I've seen, they're pretty run-of-the-mill mystery dramas. I didn't find anything in that film that would get it suspended, so there has to be some kind of other reason why you're so obsessed with it. Because I don't think this is something worth going out of your way to find. No, this has value on its own. At least to me it does. And what? Seems like Sayama might ask him what value that is, but Yagumo shakes him off and gets to his feet. Thank you for letting me use the projection room. Hey, Yagumo, what is it? You said that this didn't leave you satisfied, but you are whole with this, right? In that case, you should forget about all this. You should focus on your project now. It's your chance to make a splash out there. I appreciate your advice, but I can't forget about this. Yagumo says this with a stiff, almost mechanical voice and leaves the room. Left behind, Sayama stares at the door Yagumo went through with a bitter expression. I don't have anything else to do there right now. Yagumo meets Isagami for the first time since the incident in Yanatsu with a stiff expression. Isagami enters the room slightly later than planned and takes a seat on the reception room sofa with an exaggerated gesture. Oh, Maxie, this time I really am in a panic. It all ended well because you caught the culprit before the press caught wind of it, but this time it was just a little too poppin' for my taste. My apologies. I imagine having a false charge pressed on me must have left you really panicked. Well, I suppose I can't blame you. Inquiry from the police came in, and let me tell you, it was hell. Some of the execs even mentioned suspending the project. Though I did manage to use my authority to stop that from happening. No, really. Can't thank you for all your help with this project, Isagami. Don't mention it. You can pay me back for it with good work. I've always had a good opinion of you, Maxie. So, how's the writing going? If you don't get started on it soon, we won't have time to order a scenario writer. I have the main concept down. I got a good location scouted out, so I figured I'd go there and focus on work for a while. I see, that's good then. Because I think I almost found a writer that'll work well with you. Try to get along with him too. I hope you two come up with a good scenario together. I will. I'll do my best to try not to cause you any more trouble. Counting on you. Yagumo bows one more time and walks away. Yagumo switches on his PC and checks the mailbox. Just one unread email from Sakia. Subject tonight. From Sakia. Dear brother, don't forget we're having dinner tonight. That's at 6:30 in Volaire, a restaurant in Matsue. Right, we're supposed to have dinner together tonight. Can't forget about that. Yagumo checks his watch, confirming he still has some time, and then clicks the refresh button on his mailbox a few times. After refreshing a few times, he confirms there were no new emails. No emails from that sham shaman today, huh? After returning from the Capricious Hall, he had been checking it every day, but ever since he stopped getting emails from Yugensai Kumashiro, I guess Yugo really was the one sending those emails. But Yagumo checks his inbox and types Kumashiro into the search bar. All emails from Yugensai sent him so far show up on screen. Death surrounds you. Dear Max Yagumo, my clairvoyance told me death surrounds you. The Sawano incident is just the beginning. More people around you may disappear. You're destined to dance with death. Your destiny was sealed after the events of 10 years ago. Please, let me save you from this destiny. I have the power to do so. Yagumo glares at the email while crossing his arms in thought. There it is. The letter alluding to the events of 10 years ago. Yugo couldn't know about me after the pilot films from 10 years ago. So that means whoever wrote this email was someone other than him that knew about it and tried to draw me out. Yagumo stayed as he did for a moment, lost in thought. But realizing thinking would get him nowhere, Yagumo heaves a sigh and closes the mail. Tomorrow I'll show you my power. Dear Max Yagumo, I'm relieved you finally responded to my email. This may be my first step to saving your soul. But for true salvation, you must deepen your trust in me and strengthen our bond. Please tell me where I can meet you tomorrow. Look for someone with a crutch. Yugo got me involved in that incident and tried to pin the crime on me. Assuming he needed to have me make contact with Sakurai, it wouldn't be unnatural to assume he sent that mail. What do you think? From Yugensai Kumashiro. Dear Max Yagumo, I felt the need to demonstrate my power before we met, and thus I punished a villain with hellfire. What do you think? Surely now you believe. If Yugo came up with the trick surrounding Sakurai's body, it would make sense that he wrote this mail, I suppose. Besides, this was all in preparation towards me being lured to Capricious Hall. Let's meet up. Dear Max Yagumo, I see you finally believe in me. I'm quite pleased. Seems the time has come for me to meet you face to face. Please come to Kuni Yuzuri Beach tomorrow at 9. I shall tell you everything I know about the project from 10 years ago. This was the first introduction I was mailed to lure me to Capricious Hall. In other words, it made sense Yugo wrote this. He was waiting for me at the hall, after all. Yagumo heaves a deep sigh and looks up to the ceiling. It's all jumbled up. It's like Yugo wrote some of the mails and somebody else wrote the rest. Huh. Yugensai Kumashiro's emails were sent by multiple senders. Yeah, I guess it wasn't just Yugo that sent them after all. I should assume there were 2 people that sent me emails under Kumashiro's name. Yagumo gulps down some cold water from his personal mug, placing a hand on his chest as he waited for his heightened pulse to go down. Those films, I knew it. That's what I've been looking for this whole time. Yagumo closes his eyes and looks up. Memories that had been sealed in his heart 10 years ago begin to stir again. How's work going? As Yagumo enters the room and calls out to her, Megari replies while moving the mouse busily, without looking up from the monitor. Man, the end is finally on the horizon. There's only over 50 hours worth of data in here after all. Well, we kept the camera rolling the whole time while scooping out locations. It would add up to that much. For now, I divided it into material that's good for location scouting and the material for bonus footage. I got about 70 minutes in there. Sounds about right. Keep up the good work. Roger that, Chief. Oh, and, Is that alright if I scrub all the scenes for, like, the real deal murder scenes out of the data? Oh, yeah, of course. We don't want other people to see that, and we don't want a reminder of that either. We only took those to help solve the case to begin with. Once the cases are closed, we don't need them anymore. Right, that's good then. Knowing you, I was worried you might tell me to keep it since it would make for good material. I'm not that nasty. I'd appreciate it if you didn't make me out to be that way. Not like anything you've said or done so far is very indicative of good taste. That's rude. But hey, don't worry. Just the thought of having actual footage from a murder scene on my hard drive gives me the willies. I guess that's just common sense right there. Anyway, I should have this finished over the night. I'll upload it to the server once I'm done. I made 2 folders for the master data and the data I extracted just to be on the safe side. Erase the master folder after you see everything's fine. I mean, I can't erase it on my own. Right, I got it. I know it's a lot of work, but give it one more push. Sure thing. Megari nods in what looks like a salute without tearing her eyes off the monitor, and Yagumo leaves the editing room. Restaurant Volaire. Director. Atoa is standing in front of the restaurant. Her face lights up upon seeing Yagumo, and she raises her hand to wave towards him. Seeing her like that, Yagumo feels like he just met up with his date. This feels nice. Yagumo jogs over there, feeling his heart beat a bit faster than it should. Sorry I kept you waiting. You could have waited inside. No, we finally get to meet up, so I wanted to go in with you. Your sister and the others are already inside. I saw them here earlier, so I told them hello. Right, let's hurry on in. Yes. Oh, Rintaro. Here, over here. A familiar voice calls out to him from a table by the window. Her voice echoed through the quiet restaurant. Feeling everyone's gazes fixed on them, Yagumo hurries over to the table. Don't shout, doofus. Sorry. Let me introduce you. This is Yamagishi, the director I've been working with. Kentaro Yamagishi, a pleasure. Hello, Rintaro Yagumo. Seeing Yamagishi composedly extend a hand towards him, Yagumo hurriedly fixes his posture and shakes his hand. Kentaro Yamagishi. He is one of the project's 3 directors, alongside Max and Abuse. Sakio works under him, and based on her suggestion, the 2 directors decide to meet for dinner today. I've seen the work you submitted to the Asian Film Convention. It was good work. I can see why Miss Abuse gave you such high praise. Not at all, thank you. I think it's the most of your work too. I've seen most of your work too. How do I put it? It showed me you can make good work even under a limited budget. It was inspiring. You're making me blush. Seeing the 2 of them speak quietly, Sakia whispers to Hitoa. Look at them sparks fly. Sparks all over the place. Really? Just looks like they're talking to me. That's just on the surface, but you can be sure there are sparks flying between the two of them. After all, this is a joint project between 3 directors. Neither of them can step down. Huh. I mean, I was confident I'd steal the show as lead role, but when I met you, I realized I'm in for some tough competition. Really? Yep, I'm not gonna lose. I'll win in the end, you'll see. Definitely gonna beat you and shine as the main star. Bang. You really don't have to go out of your way to build up this sense of rivalry. I'm pretty sure you're just joking though. You figured it out? I figured doing this will help you hype us up. But since this is a joint work, we should all try to liven up the project. Right, Director? Rentaro? That's our intent, of course. Yeah, we'll definitely make sure it's a success. Yep, let's have a toast for the project's success. Cheers! The 4 lift their glasses, clinking them together at the table's center with a clear sound. 2 hours later, having finished their friendly dinner, the group leave the restaurant. What are you doing after this, Sakuya? The director's gonna go around Shimane scouting out locations, so I figured I'd join in. Maybe I'd actually get caught up in a real incident like you did, Hitoa. I'm looking forward to it. No, I don't think that stuff like that happens so often. Sakuya, you better not cause Yamagishi any trouble with that attitude of yours. Seriously. I know. Never caused him any trouble so far, right, Director? Well, you don't have to worry. I'll take good care of your sister. Take good care of me. I swear. I'll leave her in your care, Yamagishi. Yes, let's both endeavor to do our best work while we can, and elevate this project to the next level. And you watch yourself, Hitoa. Wouldn't want Rentaro to make a pass at you. Huh? You idiot, don't say stuff like that. Rentaro, Hitoa, I'll be seeing you. Sakuya waves at them and gets into a taxi with Yamagishi, and they drive off. That girl never changes, I swear. She's an interesting person. Reminds me of you in some ways, but feels completely different in others. I think we're more different than we are alike. Really now? Well, that aside, you're staying at a hotel right now, right, Hitoa? I'll pay for your taxi, so head on back. Don't, that's a waste. I still have time, I'll take the bus. I'll walk you to the bus stop. Thank you. The two walk side by side, the light of the passing by cars illuminating. Director, did you decide which location we should scout out next? I haven't decided yet. We need to submit the plot for the movie soon, so I'll need to focus on that for the time being. I see, but I'm looking forward to us scouting out the next spot together again. The last times were scary, but I had fun so far. I don't know why it's auto-scrolling. I'm glad to hear you say that, really I am. It feels like I keep getting caught up in all these awful incidents. Heh. Hitoa smiles at Yagumo's words and then hops in place, turning to face him. I know. Director, I'd like to ask you something. What is it? Could you burn a DVD with all my scenes from the location scouting so far? I'd like to send them to my dad. That's not a problem at all. I'll have them over as soon as it's done. Thank you very much. See, my dad's a bit of a worrywart, so I want to show him I'm doing fine. I assume most parents would be worried at their daughter entering showbiz. I'll ask the editor to put in the scenes where you look the most cheerful then. Really? That's a promise, okay? Yeah, I'll show you just how good my editor is. Right, promise. Huh? Hitoa? Hitoa suddenly trails off and pitches forward, sinking into Yagumo's chest. Before Yagumo understands what's going on, she crumbles powerlessly, like a doll with its strings cut. Hitoa, stay with me. Hitoa. Yagumo Part 5, Chapter 1. Man, the director really threw me for a loop when he called in and said you passed out. So, how are you feeling this morning? They gave me an IV and said I got a good night's sleep, so I'm all better now. Apparently, I just built up some fatigue, but there's nothing to worry about. Figures. We did have you follow us around all over the place while location scouting. Seriously, scouting shouldn't be that much of a mess. I kind of feel bad for letting you go through all that. Yeah. Don't worry. I'm feeling well enough to be discharged as soon as today. Well, you would say that, but the doctor probably told you to stay in the hospital for a while longer, so it would be best if she stayed. That's right. We have some time before we start shooting the footage, so you should take the time and rest. But if you need a change of clothes or any necessities, just let me know. Right, thank you. Hitoa nods at them with a slightly displeased expression, but then waves and smiles at the two as they leave. Are you members of the family? The two go out to the corridor only to meet a doctor as he is about to enter her room. No, we're her co-workers. I see. The doctor falls into a silence at their answer, but soon bows his head and disappears into the room. Let's go, director. Right. So, what do we do next? Each director's in charge of 3 stories. So we're gonna need to scope out at least one more location. But I guess having an actress accompany us is unusual, so I think we can just go and do that on our own. The deadline for submitting the plot is coming up, so we can leave scouting out locales for later. More importantly though, did something happen? No, I just want to look more into the project from 10 years ago, a little bit more. You did tell me you found the film in the Capricious Hall. You saw it, right? Was there anything interesting in there? No, nothing. Just a normal run-of-the-mill mystery drama. Then, isn't that enough? There wasn't anything there, right? No, I only found the first and second part. The second part ended with foreshadowing for the next part. There should be a third film. I have to find it. The reason for the project got suspended has to be there. Why are you so obsessed about it? Besides, whatever reason it got suspended has nothing to do with the shoot, right? Well, I guess, but... Yagumo falls silent, prompting Megari to shrug. Fine, whatever. I'll help you out if it bothers you that much. I won't have much work on my hands once I'm done with our data from the location scouting. I mean, sure, I had to throw up a little, but I get a bonus for it. You didn't have to mention the throwing up part, but I'm thankful for your help. There's one more thing I'm a bit worried about. What is that film doing in the Capricious Hall? I'm not seeing how it's related. In the films I saw, the second one takes place in the Capricious Hall. I did think there were a lot of really weird tricks and contraptions there, but apparently that place was built to be a set for a movie. Wow, they built a whole building just for that? Talk about having a large budget. I don't think they built it from scratch, but just modified from an existing building. But yeah, it must have been a big expense. That's true, it's still weird to leave the film just sitting there. You can't just leave a precious film like that forgotten in a movie set. That's what's bothering me. There's no way the staff just forgot it there at the time. They wouldn't treat the master copy carelessly like that, and even if it's just a spare copy, they wouldn't just leave it there. Someone's got their hands on that film, somewhere else, and stored it there. You think that it was the culprit, Yugo Tomine? It'd be easy if it was him, but he has nothing to do with the project from 10 years ago. Can't see him going out of his way to get it. So, what are you gonna do next? Any leads? Right, first. Yagumo opens his PC to check his mailbox again, but it seems he didn't receive any new emails. Nothing new from Yugensai Kumashiro, huh? After opening and closing the mails he got a few times, he remembers something and opens the server file directory. Megari did say she's done editing the images from location scouting. Sitting in the folder, he finds two folders entitled Master Data and Edited. Opening the files, he flips through them, confirming their contents. Megari's editing was as flawless as ever. She cut out scenes with beautiful scenery. And good shots of Hitoa they could use as bonus footage. We need to edit out some footage she can send to her father too. After confirming there weren't any missing or unnecessary footage, he moves the cursor to the folder called Master. Then he right-clicks to open the scroll-down menu and hovers the cursor over the delete button. Yagumo closes the menu without clicking delete. Then he drags the folder to his local PC, creating a copy of it. Hitoa asked us to gather footage she can send to her father. I should start picking out some good shots right now. Yagumo opens the edited location scouting data and sifts through the scenes featuring Hitoa. The kind of footage that would make her dad happy. We'll probably need to edit them for a different approach compared to when we make special edition footage for the fans. Yagumo was single and didn't have a daughter, but tried to pick the scenes based on what he thought a father might feel. The editing for location scouting data was complete, and so Megari was loitering in the room, since she didn't have any more work to do. Come to think of it, she works fast for a beginner. I ought to thank her. Yagumo leaves the editing room while thanking Megari on the side. Yagumo enters the reception room only to find Megari comparing receipts to a ledger. Sorting out the receipt journal? Yeah, we need to submit documents for our tax accountant soon. Right, sorry you have to handle this, but thanks. I'm bad with that kind of busy work. That's fine, Director. Don't we have too many receipts for this cabaret club in Matsue? This, pureness place? No, I just, frequent the place. Well, fine, just don't spend too much. I know the cabaret isn't going to bend backwards to keep skimpy, cheap clients like you coming. Yes, ma'am. Yagumo walks south down the main road while looking over Matsue Castle's right side. Eventually he reaches his destination, the large office building standing opposite of the Geta workshop. Is this where you were going? The Shimane Prefectural Police Department, yes. Detective Misawa should be back already. What? I don't like police stations. They're really wrung me out once, and I kinda don't get along with them since. Well, it's not like you're doing anything wrong right now, so you'll be fine. Come on, let's go. I don't wanna. I'm scared, I guess. Let's go in already. Pulling pouting Megari along with him, Yagumo enters the police department and asks for Detective Misawa at the reception. After a short wait, they're led into a room where, for whatever reason, they find Detective Keishino. Aren't you with Misawa? Detective Misawa is out, taking a deposition for a case. And it's just the two of you this time? What about Hitoa? Hitoa's working on her own today. Well, I'll be off then. Keishino raises a hand and makes to leave the room, only for Megari to call him back. Wait up, what are you leaving for? We haven't told you what we're here for yet. Fine, what are you here for? It's about Yugo. How's the investigation going? Tomine, huh? Well, he's been surprisingly cooperative in his hearings, so it's going well. I'd like to ask a few things. Before Yagumo can say anything else, Keishino silences him with a raised hand. Hold on there, bucko. If you want to ask about his testimony, that's a no-go. We can't let information leak in the middle of investigation. No, wait. That man locked me up and tried to kill me. I'm a victim here. I think I have the right to hear. No, if I do that, I'll get scolded big time. But, to hell with your butts. Wait a minute, Detective Keishino. Megari steps up in front of Keishino and gazes directly into his eyes. Could you please make an exception? What are you trying to pull? Impression of Hitoa? What do you think? I'll place you under arrest the next time you try it. Keishino throws those words into the air and tries to leave the room again until once again stopped by Megari. Wait up. Poor Hitoa is sick in bed and really wants to know. What? Hitoa's in the hospital right now, lying in her hospital bed. She wants us to ask you about this. Hitoa's really in the hospital? Seriously, the poor thing said she feels all alone in the hospital. How awful. I ought to visit her right away. Where is she? Well, you see. See what? Just tell me. I mean, we can't just tell you. Hitoa has her privacy to consider, right, Director? Right. This isn't information we can just divulge on our own discretion. Wait, come on now, we're friends, you can tell me. You're a friend? Of course, we cracked a case together. And at least, the least you can do is share some information about the case, right? Fine, I'll tell you everything, though. It depends on what you're asking. What do you want to know? First, I want to know if Yugo was Yugensai Kumashiro. I think there's a good chance there was somebody else behind him. Oh, that. It's too soon to say for sure right now. How come? We're tracing where the emails were sent from and comparing it to his testimony. We can't know for sure until we're finished checking that. I see. I understand why you feel that way. Is that all you wanted to know? There's something else. About the Capricious Hall. Capricious Hall? From what I know, it was built as a set for a movie 10 years ago. I think at that point, it legally belonged to Shimane TV. How did Yugo get his hands on that building? I see what you mean. His testimony did mention that place. Apparently, they converted an existing building for the shoot. I knew it. But after the shoot, it was set to be demolished. But Yugo Tomine's father bought it on a whim. Huh. The Capricious Hall was bought by Yugo Tomine's father. Tomine then asked his father to use the place for his production, and that's how it became a crime scene. Is that right? So, Yugo really is unrelated to the project 10 years ago. Figures. It makes no sense given his age too. That all? Yes, that's all I want to know for now. Thank you. We'll be off. Sorry to have bothered you while you were busy. Wait, hold up. Which hospital is Hitoa in? Come on, we're friends. Tell me. She's at Matsue Medical Hospital. It's nearby. Right. I'll go visit her later then. Yes. We're off then. See ya. Keishino jots down the hospital's name as Yagumo leaves. Megari, Hitoa isn't hospitalized at Matsue Medical Hospital. She's at the municipal hospital. I know, but I can't let him anywhere near Hitoa while she's in a hospital gown. You're right. I know I'm right. The two nod at each other and leave the police office behind them. Oh, it's you, Maxie. Upon entering Shimane TV lobby, they run into Isagami. Did we have an appointment scheduled today? No, I just figured I should come by every now and then. Oh, alright. That's good then. I just have a meeting with the agency next. Sorry. No problem. I'll come again some other time. Stay poppin' until our next meeting. Isagami hurries off to the entrance, his palms stuck up before his face in an apologetic gesture. I keep asking myself what he means by poppin'. I don't know. He just says it whenever. So I don't think it means anything in particular. I heard you went through some bad times in Yonotsu. Sayama speaks, a smirk on his lips as he looks over their faces. I heard the police tried to arrest you and you had to run away? No, well, I was kinda at the end of my rope back there. Well, in the end your innocence was proven, and all's well that ends well. Isagami was in a panic, thinking your project might be canned. Yeah, I guess I can see why they might do that. I have to apologize to him tomorrow. Yeah, you do that. You wouldn't want to squander your big chance to make a name for yourself. As he speaks, Sayama pours Yagumo and Magari a coffee. They graciously accept, and they chat with Sayama for a while. The weather's so nice. Feels great. I'm always shut up in the editing room, so I gotta take in the sun every now and then. True to Magari's words, the sunlight washing over them as they walk along Aoi Ishidatami Street. Aoi Ishidatami Street. It's quite pleasant. True, you gotta get some sunshine to get some serotonin secretion, so times like these are important. Serotonin? What's that? Hell if I know. But apparently it's really good for your body. That's vague. The two of them enjoy the sunlight as they talk about random things. Yagumo tells Azaya that he has important news to share in front of Mio-kan. After a short wait, Manami exits one of the nearby elevators. Hello there, you two. Hey Manami, I wanted to thank you for helping me out the other day. My, but you already invited me to that restaurant in Izumo. I think you've been plenty grateful already. No, I want to thank the two of you properly. That's what I like about you, Yagumo. You always come across as a mature man. Not at all. Yagumo grins brightly at Manami's words, earning him a poke in the ribs from Magari, who whispers in his ears. Director, stop drooling. Zip it, I'm not. What is it? Nothing. By the way, is Isaiah... He's, well, not present at the moment. Sorry. He just left you and went somewhere? He's working on the plot for his movie right now, and he prefers to be left completely alone at times like these. Huh. Director Abuse always works alone when working on a film's plot. I get not wanting to be around other people, but wouldn't having you around make it easier for him? As a manager, I feel the same way, but when it comes to composing the plot and the scenario, he can't write when other people are around. And I think leaving him alone at times like that would be best. I mean, you know what director Isaiah is like. Yeah, he does look the type, right? Anyway, with that in mind, I'll let him know you give him your regards. Please do. Yagumo makes to leave the Mio-kan, but then stops in his tracks. What's wrong? Nothing. Just thought I saw somebody familiar just now. Who? Where? No, I just saw their back, but they're gone now. Oh. Hey, isn't that... Huh? Yagumo points ahead where an elderly gentleman is walking down the fair blue flagstone road. Isn't that the guy who was in the same inn as us? Hibiya. So it really was him earlier. Just like the first time Yagumo had met him, Hibiya was taking pictures in a professional manner. The two waited for him to be done before calling out to him as to not interrupt his work. Hibiya. Oh, you two. Hello, we met at Yunotsu. Yes. Seems there was quite the ruckus after that. I read about it in the newspaper. Quite the embarrassing story. It caused quite the riot. You are an abducted victim. You have nothing to be ashamed of. You're saying that is a relief. What brings you here, Hibiya? Another photography trip? Yes, though this time that's more on the side. I came here to meet a colleague of mine from my time as an office worker. That sounds fun. Quite so, yes. I was drinking with him just the other day, and quite a few nostalgic topics came up. He likely had quite a good time because a gentle smile plays over his expression as he speaks. You said a colleague of yours from your time as an office worker. Was that related to photography too? What made you come to that conclusion? I apologize if I'm wrong. It's just when I saw you in Yunotsu, I thought the way you handled the camera was very skilled. You look like a professional. Let us say you have quite the keen eye. I suppose I couldn't fool a fellow man of trade. Actually, I worked in Shimane TV. Huh. At Shimane TV. We're actually doing a job for them right now. Then perhaps you know my old colleague. May I ask what they're called? Of course, it's a man called Sayama. Though right now he works at the archive center, so I imagine you aren't involved with him. Oh, neat. Sayama worked under Hibiya during his time at Shimane TV. Sayama? We know of Sayama, yes. He's been helping us for a long while now. My oh my. Life does have a way of bringing people together, does it not? Did Sayama originally work at your company? Yes, he worked as a cameraman under me. All through 10 years ago. Things took a turn, shall we say. What do you mean? I was not personally involved, and so I do not know all the details, but apparently it was because he was involved with a certain project. It seemed he lingered in obscurity for a few years after that, but he used his past connections to find work at the archive center. I see. There's no mistaking it, he was involved with the project 10 years ago. Damn it, he's been playing coy in front of me the whole time. Hibiya regards Yagumo, who sinks into thought with surprise. Is there anything odd about that? No, it's nothing. I just thought that Sayama certainly went through a lot. Yes, indeed. I think there's a lot to unpack there, but I make it a point not to touch on such matters. Right, I'll do the same. Do you know anything about the project 10 years ago or Sayama's involvement? Like I said earlier, I wasn't directly involved in it, and that aside, yeah? Hibiya hesitates to speak for a moment. How should I put it? There was quite a gag order. The atmosphere in the company was that the matter was not to be touched. In other words, you felt there was something wrong with the whole thing? Well, everyone involved with the project resigned one by one. As employees, we knew better than to approach the matter. Yes, I understand why you'd feel that way. Everyone involved with the project resigned one by one, huh? Maybe they didn't resign voluntarily, but they were instructed from above. Interesting. Maybe we should talk to Sayama. As always, they find Sayama in the archive center with a cup of coffee in hand. You came to goof off here again? I got time on my hands, so I don't mind though. Feigning ignorance as always, huh? He kept secrets from me the whole time. I won't just fold and tell me everything, even if I confront him. Having heard what Hebe had told them, Yagumo had to hold back the urge to shake him down for answers. Yagumo speaks, feigning calmness. Actually, Sayama, there's something I want to ask you. Yeah? I just wanted to ask, remember how you were absent from work for a few days? What was that about? Some of the staff said they couldn't get in touch with you, so we were worried you might have gone missing. Oh, that. I apologize if I worried you. Sayama then mutters, scratching his cheek awkwardly. I was a bit butthurt. Huh? I mean, you know, constipated. Couldn't hear you. Constipation, I had to go to surgery for it. Sayama was hospitalized. Huh? Like, when doesn't it come? That's right, what other kind of constipation do you know? No, I mean, you took paid time off for that? I did, except it's an embarrassing reason, so I didn't tell anyone. The staff members just exaggerated and made a fuss saying I was missing. So that's what happened. Being embarrassed about it at your age? What are you, a spoiled princess? Oh, hush you. Since you just laughed at me for it, that's why I try to keep it a secret. Yeah, I can see why you wouldn't want others to know. If you had surgery, then it had to been at Matsue Municipal, right? That's the closest hospital. That's the hospital I've always gone to. It's a nice place. Facilities are pretty, and they treat their patients well. I'll try to go there if I need to then. You should. Perhaps overly ashamed of having to confess, Sayama spoke sulkily and looked away. Yagumo arrives at the hospital, and after checking the information board, he heads into one of the wards. Where are you going? Hitoa's room is in the cardiology department. There's something I want to check. Yagumo keeps going without answering Megari's question. Eventually, he stops in front of the proctology clinic. You came here? No, I'm not. I want to check something about Sayama's surgery. Huh? Turns his back to Megari's dubious face, calls out to the nurse. Excuse me? Yeah? Is there a Shuhei Sayama hospitalized here? We came here to visit, but we couldn't find his name on any of the room plates. Yeah. Yes, I see. Give me a moment. The nurse went over to the center counter and returned after a short exchange. Shuhei Sayama came here for a day surgery, so he wasn't hospitalized. Okay. Day surgery. That's odd. He said he'd been hospitalized. Apparently his symptoms weren't that severe, so he didn't need to stay the night here. Despite the operation, he should be back at work tomorrow. I guess I misunderstood then. Sorry for taking your time. Yagumo bows his head and the nurse leaves with a smile. Megari turns to Yagumo. What was that just now? Exactly what you heard. He's been absent for work for at least 3 days. So if it's not because he's hospitalized, why would he lie? That's what I want to know. He's hiding something. The question is, how do we get him to talk? He's gone? There's no sign of Sayama in the room. Coffee cup is resting on the table, steam still rising from it. Guess he stepped out for a bit. Maybe the bathroom? Then we're in luck. Let's do what we need to while he's out. Huh? Ignoring Megari's confused expression, Yagumo takes a handkerchief out of his pocket, starts walking around the room. That looks about right, but he'd notice it's missing right away. Come on, we can't carry this. This doesn't look right. There was a can of instant coffee on the bottom shelf, as well as milk for coffee and sugar packs. This should do. Grabs an instant coffee can with a handkerchief and tucks it into his bag. What are you doing? How petty do you have to be to try to lift something like that? Don't tell me you're broke because you had to give me a bonus. No, I'm taking this for fingerprints. Fingerprints? Yeah, this is all I need. Let's hurry back to the office. Wait up. Still confused, Magari follows Yagumo as he leaves the office. Yagumo returns to the office and immediately hurries to the reception room and starts sifting through the cardboard boxes in the corner. Should be around here. There it is. There, see? I bought it at an appliance store in Hiroshima when the project began. It's a fingerprint collection kit. Fingerprint collection kit? Why'd you buy something like that? It looked fun and I figured it'd be good for coming up with mystery ideas. Just don't spend too much money on useless trash to the point that it cuts into my bonuses, alright? Come on, it's being useful right now. As he speaks, Yagumo spreads out an old newspaper on the table and opens the kit. Just gotta put some fluorescent powder on the pad here, and then you use the brush to get rid of any spare powder. I can see it. Wow, it looks like a toy kit, but it picks up fingerprints like the real deal. The two looked in admiration as the fingerprints showed up on the instant coffee can they took from the archive center. Just gotta put some tape on it and stick it onto a black mat and it's done. Well, it's cool that it's done, but those are just Sayama's fingerprints. What's the point of doing this? Well, compared to the fingerprints on this, Yagumo says, gesturing towards the table where the film case containing the pilot film from 10 years ago was resting. Didn't you find that thing in the Capricious Hall? Why is Sayama's fingerprints be on that? You assumed that, yeah, except... 30 minutes later, the two of them are glaring at the editing room monitor. The bottom part's transparent, so when you overlap the two of them together like this, on the monitor, the fingerprints they collected from the coffee can and the fingerprints they found on the film, the two were being dragged together before their eyes. Two gasped at once. Perfect match. Yeah, it totally fits. The fingerprints on the film case and the coffee can are a perfect match. Sayama placed this film case in the Capricious Hall. We found another sets of fingerprints, but those are mine. I touched the case too, after all. Right, we don't have to mind those. Oh, what does this mean? What does it mean, huh? I guess we gotta ask him and find out. Mangari's expression turns severe as she falls silent. Alright, but I think we'll do that next time. So, thanks for watching and see you all then. Bye.